Welcome to today's training. I only have one goal today with this presentation, and that is to potentially help you change your life by walking you through the only thing that I'm great at, and that is scaling businesses. Okay, this is going to be a thorough training. This is 90 pages, so if your attention span is pretty bad, then I highly suggest you engineer your environment so there is the least amount of distractions. Okay, I'm about to walk you through the 5 models that we actually apply in businesses that spend multiple 5 figures in order for us to be able to implement. And I've also leveraged these same 5 models to go from a struggling 30K a month commoditized agency owner to a 600K a month leverage growth creator firm. Okay, my name is Serge Gatari. I run client acquisition.io, and this is proof, I guess. Some people like to make claims but not necessarily showcase the P&L. 600K in revenue, 400K in profit, and that was 15 months after I actually incorporated the company. So I was able to go from a commoditized, struggling appointment setting agency to being able to take home more than a lot of people take home. Okay, so the purpose of this training is to walk you through the 5 models our growth creator partners are leveraging to go from the hamster wheel of the agency / consulting / service model space to selling infrastructures in order to profitably scale past $100,000 to $500,000 per month. Okay. For those who don't know what the definition of hamster wheel is, metaphorically, hamster wheel is sometimes used to describe a situation or activity that seems productive or active, but ultimately leads nowhere or accomplishes very little. Okay, that's how I felt when I was making $30,000 a month. I had to run after new clients month after month. I was churning people. So all the activity I was doing led to me just staying in the same spot. Okay, and these 5 models changed my life. Okay, now why am I necessarily sharing these models with you? Well, this is the interesting part. If I succeed in opening your eyes to the potential of this model and that you meet the requirements to apply these models, I'll extend you an offer to become a partner and give you access to $250,000 a month worth of resources to help you scale faster. Okay, let me repeat that. If you meet the requirements to be able to apply these 5 models, I will be happy to offer you the opportunity to partner with me so I can allocate $250,000 per month worth of resources. And I mean that by talent, I mean systems, and I mean insights and data. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of me releasing this training for free. Okay, now let's get into it. And then these are the 5 models, value creation model, and I'm not going to go over into it right now. I want to actually show you guys some of our clients and partners who've applied this. Okay, let's get into it. We have Oliver, founder of Growth Solutions, helping lead generation agencies scale, right? He started working with us after being stuck at 30K a month while working with 60 agencies per month. Knowing how insanely competitive the market was, we rebuilt his offer, its positioning, its pricing, his sales process, and he went from $30,000 a month to $77,000 a month after launching the first few models of becoming a growth creator. Okay, and the craziest part is, this is the message from him. He said the craziest part is that it was 100 times more work to achieve the 30K a month in July than it was to make the $75,000, right? During that month, we onboarded 60 new clients at a 30K a month, and it was absolutely a nightmare to manage, right? This month, we only signed 6 clients. So he went from 60 clients per month to 6 clients and making almost 6 figures per month. And then, he's closing 12K packages, $22,000 days. And then his old offer was $500 a month for coaching, which is pretty bad. Okay, you can pause and read if you want. Wyatt, founder of Tactical Consulting.io, he's building and releasing appointments and AI infrastructures, dialing infrastructures. He's 16 years old, by the way. Okay, this 16-year-old went down the rabbit hole of AI, got really early into the licensing deal of Air.ai, and started making 5 to 10K a month selling and integrating these dialing agents for $500 or $1,000 a pop. Okay, when he became a partner in December of 2023, We turned his offer into a build and release and priced it at 12K, implemented our acquisition infrastructure, fully removed him from the acquisition process, and started collecting $27,000 a week in month 2, okay? Which is crazy. At 16 years old. I'm worried about what we're doing with him because he's so young and experienced this type of growth at such a young age. I actually think it might actually not be the healthiest life, because it's good to leave out your teenage years, right? Making $5,000 while he's in science class, closing $10,000 deals at 16, which is impressive. Okay, can have, and then the first 9 days of February, he was at $30,000 cash collected, pacing for his first 6-figure month. Kind of like 60 days into working with us. Steve, growth expert and working with wood and manufacturing businesses. Before he became a partner, he was selling coaching programs for $4,000 to $5,000 to woodpreneurs who wanted to scale their businesses and was stuck around $20K a month. We changed his positioning from coaching to building and releasing the protocol and the systems into these businesses. And, we helped him build his whole acquisition infrastructure, and he generated his first $50K a month. And started charging infinitely more. Today, 6 days into the month, $32K just in the first 6 days, right? And $98K in booked revenue, not including $17K in verbal commitments, $45K cash collected. Today, he's selling build and release and partnership offers to $20 million manufacturing companies, $20 million a year, who need acquisition infrastructures, right? Selling them for $25,000 upfront and then $10,000 a month after he delivers on his infrastructure, which is pretty amazing. Baz, ex-closer turned into sales agency owner / consultant, became a partner when he realized that selling B2C wasn't as sustainable, even though he was making $60,000 a month. And he was interested in entering the B2B space, and he saw the model of selling infrastructures. So we pivoted him from serving beginners into becoming closers, and instead pushed him to serve existing closers who wanted more leverage by building a sales agency. So now his new offer was building and releasing a sales agency infrastructure for closers who want to become more leveraged and stop hustling 10 hours per day, okay? It's great for you to make, I have my closers who make $40,000 a month, right? But at some point, you get tired of making $40K a month, because you're working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, probably even more, okay? So we were solving a bigger problem. Therefore, he kind of like validated it, started charging $15K for his build and release instead of charging, something cheaper for B2C. And then, booked out, and they're booked out 3 days in advance, which is crazy, right? 12K deal closed, aiming for launched 45, 60K a month after launching it. Now they're pacing for 100K a month, which should be relatively easy, okay? Gurveer, Adam, these are partners, at Novak Partners. They're a growth agency for restaurants, okay? They went from struggling to charge $700 a month retainers services for their growth, lead gen services, to selling $11,000 infrastructure offer. Okay, so they turned the same expertise they were delivering done for you for less than $1K a month into an infrastructure that restaurants are happy to pay almost $12,000 for upfront. I don't know about you guys, but the restaurant niche is probably one of the hardest kind of like market to serve. Okay, but this type of model that we're leveraging allows us to go to even the cheapest, stingiest leads and sell them something that that they're willing to to spend a lot of money on, right? So first call today for the new restaurant build and release offer, close them on 9K pounds, and then def bumping up the price. Just need to test the water to see if their product or service market fit. Okay, it's funny how we went from struggling to charge 500 pounds per month to, because it was too expensive, to closing the first call we hopped on. First sales call, pushed a kind of like an infrastructure offer, and then people were willing to spend 10 times more money with them. Okay, And Mo, 8-figure brand builder, right? He builds brands himself. He's not a client, actually. He's not a partner. But he learned about the model from a partner who's working with us. At first, he wasn't interested, but then decided to try kind of like a positioning. And a week later, he ended up messaging me on Instagram. And this is what he sent. He said, hey, I can probably scale this up effortlessly to 100K in a couple of weeks. I got something stupid unique. We should talk. Right? So he messaged me after he closed 25K, right? And you can, as you can see, these are like 10K days, right? So this is like, he's just selling once a day. And this is a new business. His main business is e-com, but he was like, oh, maybe I could start selling the infrastructure, right? And then a few days later, 36K cash collected from 3 people, okay? From 3 DMs actually, right? 0 content done, 0 sales calls, just Twitter DMs, okay? You know something is validated when you clear $10,000 days every day on something you don't even have a proper acquisition for. Okay, someone who has built and scaled brands, he's building and releasing the same infrastructure he uses into other brands, and it's a no-brainer for anyone who wants to access such an offer. Okay, Lois, SaaS growth agency owner. By the way, the reason why I'm walking you through these wins is because I want to show you how diverse the clients and partners that we've worked with and how we've applied the same models and have validated them in all these different verticals. It's not just this works if you run Facebook ad, or this works if you sell. No, these are almost like principles, right? So they apply to whatever service, as long as you actually have an insight into getting someone great results, okay? Started working with us to help her scale her SaaS agency and implement our client acquisition infrastructure. She was having a hard time filling up her calendar. We redesigned and implemented kind of like our offer creation, implemented our growth protocol, and signed a new client, 10K setup, 3.5K a month times 12 months, so 50K a deal, and re-signed another client for 6, nice 12K cash, 64 revenue day. Again, same thing, prospecting, getting a loan to pay her build and release offer, little 14K kind of like PIF, which is amazing, right? And then this also works for content agencies, right? Miro started working with us when he was capped at 5 clients per month. He felt the constraint of running a done-for-you content creation agency. The model on content is so hard to scale, right? So he decided to try selling content infrastructures, and then outcome, he was at 5 clients on monthly retainers, but I just switched over to build and release this past month. Sold his first build and release this past month for 13K upfront and 2K a month recurring, right? Once he saw the potential of this model, he actually decided to partner with us, okay? As you can see, a lot of the people who are working with us, you don't need to necessarily work with us to make money with what I'm sharing. Like, a lot of people have made thousands and thousands of dollars before they ever thought of partnering up with us, okay? So now, who is this for? This is for agency owners, consultants who've mastered delivering a specific transformation, preferably growth, okay, for a specific niche, okay? So you have a specific insight into delivering a specific outcome for a specific niche, okay? And you've preferably been stuck around 20K to 100K a month, and you're finally ready for a model that allows you to scale past 100K to 500K a month effortlessly, and most importantly, ethically, right? This isn't for you if you're a beginner. I know you guys will see what I'm about to show you. You'll be like, oh my God, I can leverage this to make millions of dollars. But this is not, it's like a lever, right? If you have no experience, then you can't push nothing. You don't have nothing to pull, or you have no weight to pull. Okay, so it's nothing. 0 times 100 is 0. Okay, so that's kind of like a disclaimer I wanted to push. Okay, this is especially for you if you're tired of the following: being just another growth agency, growth consultant with no competitive edge, and who's struggling to charge more than 2 to 5K per month due to competition. If you're also tired of being busy, the more clients you onboard, but not really getting rich enough to buy true freedom or to experience true freedom. If you're tired of serving incompetent clients that suck up all your time and energy only for you to generate average results and be blamed for it, okay? Churning most clients after 60, 90 days and having to run after new ones only to stay in the same position revenue-wise, okay? Running twice as fast only to stay in the same position. looking at your peers who are more incompetent, okay, people who are probably not as good as you, who are probably delivering less results, but they're making $100,000 to $1 million a month in the same niche, making the same promise, serving the same incompetent clients. Okay, the reason why I'm emphasizing on this one is because it actually pisses me off too. It pissed me off when I was making 30K a month and I saw people making 300 grand a month, and I could tell. I bought their services, I bought their products. I was like, how is this person making 300 grand a month? Right? If you're in that situation, then this is going to be good. Okay. All the noise around the best client acquisition funnel, VSL funnel, Instagram funnels, SLO, setters, in groups, outbound LinkedIn, Twitter, IG. When you've tried them all and the only thing that comes from it is average returns and wasted time. Okay. There's a crazy amount of noise. And if you're also the person who's been making claims around, oh, this is the best strategy, this is the best funnel, please stop doing that. Okay. You guys, oh my God. Anyway, it's another story for another time. Now, prospects not showing up for sales calls and ghosting you only to tell you that they just bought a $25,000 coaching program from some guy with a personal brand when they were complaining to pay you $5,000. Okay. I've had this happen multiple times. Okay. Before. And then not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. When you started your business, you thought all you needed was able to acquire clients, deliver service, and simply keep stacking more clients, but you finally realize that the world isn't all sunshine and rainbow. You're in a red ocean, competing with thousands of experts, leaving you with enough crumbs to afford to put food on the table, pay rent, and hopefully drive one nice car you bought when you made your first $10,000 a month. Okay? I like cars, so I wouldn't want just one nice car, okay? And then, by the way, all this pain comes from one simple thing that I called the slavery flywheel, okay? The flywheel here is the following. You have a commoditized service, offer, Facebook ad, appointment setting, cold email, short form content, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you're a coach or consultant on these things. But guess what? So is there hundreds of other people just like you. That what this does is you have a low closing rate and you're only solving one obstacle and you're just doing it like everyone else. So what this does is it makes it so that the market pushes your price to meet what everybody else is charging. Okay. Now, since you're not making a lot of money because you just have your low prices, then this means that you can't afford leverage. You can't afford to hire the best talent. Okay. And since you don't have amazing talent, then you can't afford to get your clients great results. Well, that leads to another issue. If you're not getting them good results, then you have a low retention rate. And if you have low retention rate, that means you have to go acquire clients. But since you're charging low ticket and you have to keep replacing clients, then that means that your CAC keeps going up and up, and you have to keep spending on marketing, keep spending on sales, keep just reinvesting all the money, all the little money you're making, you have to invest it back into getting the same low prices, right? And this is where you get to making 20K, 50K a month, but you're doing it painfully, right? We're going to avoid this, okay? I'm going to walk you guys through the next flywheel afterwards, okay? Now, today's topics are going to be my own case study, client acquisition.io case studies of leveraging these the growth creator models, the value creation model. I'm going to walk you guys through build and release offers, most profitable market segments, and how we leveraged pricing structures. Okay. The third thing is going to be the acquisition model, value-based funnels, infinitely scalable appointment setting channels. Okay. Infrastructure close. We're not going to sell services. We're not going to sell coaching. We're not going to sell consulting. We're going to sell infrastructures. And that, there is a specific way of selling that. And then the next thing is going to be the fulfillment model. We have a 3-step framework we use to fulfill on 600 grand a month worth of infrastructures, which is not easy. So I'm going to walk you guys through that. And then I'm going to walk you guys through how to create a moat, the model that we use to create moats. And that is, why are we doing that? We want to protect our profits from copycats and increase the durability of cash flow and our pricing power. Okay, premium pricing. That's super important. Again, I'm not just showing you how to get clients. I'm not showing you how to build a great offer. I'm not showing you just how to sell. I'm showing you how to build an amazing asset. Okay? And the sixth step is going to be, how do we retain, how do we ascend our clients, right? The three vehicles, you can go from $1 million per year to $1 million per month to eventually $1 billion a year. Okay. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because I spend 90% of my time in the investment world, learning what makes a business valuable and all that good stuff. So these are some of the inspiration I get are from literally teachers who do, who value businesses, right? Like valuations and stuff. Okay. So that's it. Now, how I accidentally closed a $30K a month agency only to clear $7 million 24 months later. Okay. So I closed down my $30K a month agency, appointment setting agency, and made $7 million. And this is how. In 2020, I went through course after course. By the way, I was born in Rwanda, moved to Montreal when I was 13. I've shared my story so many times that I don't like to put it, but I've shared it before. So born in Rwanda, have three brothers came here, Montreal, went to school, high school, then I did door to door. Then, I quit school, all that good stuff, right? And then 2020, I was starting to buy a lot of courses, learned about all the business models, was still unsuccessful at making any of them work. I realized it was due to my inability to go all in and not a lack of knowledge. So I quit my $30K a year job at 22, which was great. I was still living at home. I was a 22-year-old, as you can see here. I think I had some swag. I think that's why they added me on the picture. I'm still there like 4 years later on their website. So shout out to Good Food. It was almost a $500 million a year company, by the way. So some of the most amazing founders were leading that e-commerce meal kit company. And then after the courses, I decided to, after I quit my job, I decided to launch an ads agency, right? I went through the Iman Gadzi thing. I was like, hey, let me get clients, but I couldn't get appointments, okay? I knew how to film an onboarding video with a nice linen shirt, but I couldn't get appointments to save my own life. In an industry full of people teaching how to grow a business, no one helped me learn how to book calls with strangers, which is crazy. So I was forced to learn it the hard way and got so good at it that I decided to start a done-for-you appointment setting agency. And January 2021 is when I made my first $10,000 a month. Okay, I ended up sending the screenshot to my aunt, and I was like, "Hey, do you still want me to go to school?" And she was like, "Yes, of course." I was like, "Okay, okay, that's good." And then 4 months, I scaled it to $30K a month, but I felt disappointed. Right? I had finally figured out how to make my yearly salary in a month, months after quitting my job. But I realized that I had only created a rat race worse than having a job. I was cash rich, but time poor, and I was technically a slave to my business. Okay? The reason why I say it's worse is because it's more painful when you're perceived as successful on the outside, but inside, you're struggling to achieve your full potential. Right, this was me in the basement, GT2RS on the screen, on the background, on the wall, like as a wallpaper, and just building these Google Docs. As you guys can see, 3-4 years in, I'm still writing bangers. Okay, and I couldn't tolerate this mediocre level of success. Therefore, I was forced to seek insights into models that could allow me to turn a $30K a month biz into a $300K a month business, working 10 times less. I decided to switch to building and releasing these appointment setting infrastructures. I was releasing the talent, the insights, and the systems. Okay. I didn't want to become another coach, consultant, or another course creator with 99% failure rate. Okay. If you're getting people to buy a coaching program or a course and 99% fail, then that's not a business. That's a scamming. That's like that's a company that doesn't deliver on its promises, right? So I didn't want to do that. So I went the build and release route because it would get me as close to making it inevitable for my clients not to grow, okay? Now, what was the outcome of applying this model? Here was the outcome. 90 days after launching this offer of building and releasing these infrastructures instead of selling them as an appointment setting service, I made my first 6-figure month in November of 2020, right? So I made my first 10K a month in January, made my first 6-figure month by November, And here is what was beautiful. I made $76,000 in profit on 100K in revenue, which is insane. Okay. 12 months later, that's when we did the 600K a month, 400K in revenue. And we did $500,000 on Stripe in cash collected and others on other platforms. Okay. Now, the growth creator models, right? How does one go from being overwhelmed and stuck at 30K per month to generating $600,000 a month later, say 18 months later, serving the same prospects who were complaining about $1,000 and $500 a month retainer? Okay. I did not switch niches. I did not do anything. I went from having people complaining about 1.5K a month in retainer to getting them to spend insanely more money, like 10 times more, okay? And they were happy to do so. Now, in order for me to help you understand how this model allowed me to experience true freedom, I need to break down the problem with the old model I was using with my agency, okay? So here it is. One service means it's easy to get other competitors to do the same thing as you, okay? So it's a low barrier of entry. What that leads? It leads to thousands of competitors, especially in this new info space where everybody's being sold into starting businesses, right? So what that means is, now it's hard to build a great offer without selling your soul with guarantees. I'm sure you guys have started seeing the ads. It's like, I'll do this or you won't pay. I actually received a message yesterday from a coaching business, scaling coaching company. They said, you'll test our program for 7 days for free. They're literally turning their services into free just to get market share. That's what competition is, okay? And if you know anything, you know that, hey, everybody races to the bottom when they're trying to compete. They just keep lowering their prices, okay? Now, this leads to, a lack of pricing power due to high competition, and you only profit enough to feel good, but not enough to buy freedom with hiring talented individuals. And the lack of talent, inconsistency, leads to inconsistency of delivering results. Clients only get results when you are involved and oversee everything. Well, you're building a company. You're not necessarily trying to be a slave to your business, so you're not necessarily as involved, and that leads to a high churn the more clients you onboard, okay? And that's kind of like what I explained here. This is a broken model as it caps at 30 to 50K per month. It gives you the illusion of being a business owner, but what you really are is a superstar employee who has 5 different jobs and who is a slave to his 5 jobs, his or her 5 jobs, right? Now, the model's flywheel. The 5 models I'll be sharing eradicated the constraints presented by the old model, and here is why. It took me from selling a commoditized service to building and releasing infrastructures, a full package, a full service package, insights, systems, and talent into clients' companies that will create the inputs that led to the desired outcome, okay? This sophisticated offer gave me insane pricing power since they couldn't get it elsewhere, primarily because my competition was actually incompetent and couldn't afford to copy my solution. So I created an offer so sophisticated that the same people who could be taught how to run Facebook ad and come compete with me couldn't follow me anymore, right? They couldn't copy. So I went from charging 1.5K to charging $10,000 to $15,000 for my build and release infrastructure. And as you can see, a lot of people paid it, okay? And if ever you get the experience of getting 10, 15, $10,000 packages, $20,000 packages just hit your Stripe account, it's one of the most amazing feeling, okay? Now, the high margins from charging upfront allowed me to afford top talent, making client results go through the roof. And since most of the infrastructure was built once and could be implemented infinite amount of times without much more marginal cost, okay, I almost had zero operational drag, allowing me to handle 10 to 40 units sold per month every month without needing to slow down, right? Most people who create great offers are forced to slow down because of all the complexity in their offer. This model removes most of the complexity in your fulfillment, right? And this is what it looked like. You start with a build and release offer. You charge high ticket because you're solving, you're literally making inevitable, at least the perception of the solution. is that you're making it inevitable for them not to bridge the gap, okay, of going from where they're at to where they need to be. And then since I'm highly profitable, I could afford the best of the best. And since I could afford even to hire people who are smarter than me, guess what? My client results would go through the roof. And since they were happy clients, then I would have a crazy retention rate. And I could afford better attention, because I could go be like, hey, I just made this client $100,000 a month. I just made this other client $50,000 a month in new revenue. So now my marketing cost went down, right? So acquisition was nothing, right? And the reason why I keep pushing out competition is because it's, for anyone who's running a business, guys, competition is your worst enemy, okay? In practice, like Peter Thiel said, in practice, it is quite destructive and should be avoided wherever possible. Much better than fighting for scraps in existing markets is to create and own new ones, right? The longer you stay in a service that can be replicated by a 15-year-old who's still in high school, the longer you'll spend experiencing average return on your life. That's me who wrote that. Okay, it's not Peter Thiel. But what he says is, he calls it that competition is for losers, right? If you're still competing, I'm sorry, but there is no margins in competition, right? Net worth 7 billion, ex-CEO of PayPal, right? Now that you know the main thing keeping you from scaling, I want to walk you through the 5 models every partner goes through to sell expensive infrastructures, okay? The value creation model. Of all things you can do to scale effortlessly, following the right value creation framework is by far the most important lever, and we force every partner to go through it, okay? And here it is. You start with a build and release offer. Okay, and I'm actually going to show you guys shortly, right? And then you pick your most profitable market segment. You don't want to go and target anyway, I'll show you guys, okay? So it's made of a build and release offer, the most profitable segment, because that gives us leverage. Helping someone who's far ahead is actually leverage, okay? Pricing model, leveraged pricing structure gives us even more leverage. The reason why leverage is important, let me explain it. You want 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more for the same input. If you don't scale the lever you're pulling in your business, you will never get wealthy, okay? That's the difference between an Amazon, NVIDIA, a Google, Alphabet, right? Let me give you an example. When you're advertising on Google, the cost to have the links, right? When, like to have the links there, it cost Google, I believe, like 3 cents, okay? And then they go and sell it back to you for like $3 or $4, right? That's insane levels of margins. That's over 99% profit margins. Now, the reason why they're able to do that is because they figure out a way to do something and to collect a lot of data, give it back to you, to more people, okay? And then sell it to someone who can still make more margins, right? But anyway, I don't want to go into that because that will just throw me off. But we want leverage. Everything I'm going to show you guys today is to help you get more leverage. Get more without doing more, okay? Why is it crucial? A build and release offer helps the prospect perceive you as the last solution they'll ever need to buy. It's important. When I go to someone and I'm like, hey, I'm going to sell you this solution, this growth infrastructure, I want them to look at it and be like, wow, if I spend 15, 25, 30 grand, 50 grand with this person, I can see how I can go through the whole journey without failing, right? So that's how it needs to look like. They need to feel like they can experience their dream outcome. And most importantly, you need to be perceived as a solution of, one of one. They can't go get it somewhere else. That's one. The second thing is picking the right market segment, the right avatar provides us with leverage. Any number times 0 equals 0, right? Some people help a lot of broke people, but it's like, no matter how you help him or her, if she's not willing to take action, you're not going to get them results, no matter how smart you are, right? Therefore, we want to make sure that our clients are not zeros in terms of scales and in terms of capital. We want to serve people with money and people who have skills. Pricing structure is a one-time fee plus a percentage of growth coming from the contribution of your infrastructure. Prospects are willing, and this is an interesting insight, prospects are willing to spend 10 times more money when they know it only happens once and they hate being locked into monthly commitment, we get to ask for a percentage of revenue during the program length, since what we built for them is going to continuously deliver value. We build it once, it keeps on printing for them, okay? And these are examples of people who've applied it, right? Dan, in the SaaS space, 12K package to a software company, 15% of the deal. 11K deal closed, right? Ecom, closed 9.5K down. This is an email marketing agency in ecom, 9.5K down plus 10% commission. I'm sure you guys know how hard it is to actually sell email marketing services, especially if you're going to charge up front, especially if it's $9,000. That's crazy, okay? And then the coaches, also coaches and consultants build and release. This is a client, Alex, been with us for a long time. 15K deal. The bank was rejecting the payment, so the client was only able to pay 7.5K, okay? As you guys know, coaching consultants, super competitive niche, right? But he's still able to clear 15K upfront, right? These are all highly competitive markets, and our clients and partners are able to dominate after implementing the actual value creation model, okay? Now, what is the application process? Here is how it looks like. You want to position your offer as an infrastructure instead of a service, okay? While most people are like, hey, I'm going to sell you Facebook ad, or hey, I'll do appointment setting, or hey, I'm going to write some email for you. Well, that's important, but like if you give me the leads, who's going to dial them? Who's going to set them? Okay, then who's going to close them, right? Or what is the process we're going to do to onboard them type thing, okay? So they're selling it as a one service. Well, since it doesn't bridge the whole gap, then they're perceived as commodities, right? What you want to do is you want to be positioned as this. You want to go to a prospect and be like, okay, cool. I know every single pain you deal with, and I can help you go from here to here. Since it's a specialized offer, you're more perceived like a specialist, you get to charge more money, right? And what you want to do is sell it to the most profitable segment of the marketplace, okay? Now, this is a profitable market metrics that we created. We want to find the biggest ROI. We want to find the prospect who gets the biggest ROI from experiencing your service or product, okay? Then we want to find the person who can effortlessly afford this, the ROI that you're promising them. Then you also want to find someone who you can almost guarantee success or results to. And the fourth one, you want to find people you can easily find. You want to target prospects you can easily find. So what we do is we'll have different segments, right? We'll have, okay, people making $10,000 a month or less, people making 50 grand a month or less, business doing $500,000 a month or less, business doing over 8 figures, right? And then we want to rate them. And at the end, we want to pick the business that has the highest score. So in this case, maybe it was a business doing 50K per month, or it was a segment. They are the one who can get the biggest ROI. They can easily afford it. They can almost be guaranteed success, and we can easily find them. 90%, beautiful. Let's get after them, okay? That's the matrix we walk our clients through. Now, the pricing, this is where pricing becomes interesting. And if you want to start selling build and release offers, please pay attention. We charge 10% of the potential of the infrastructure times the probability of experiencing the outcome, okay? So I'll explain. Imagine you're selling a growth infrastructure, right? That has the potential of generating $25,000 a month in new revenue times 12 months. That's 300K in growth a year that infrastructure can potentially create for that business. Okay. Now, not everyone who builds this or who acquires this in their business is necessarily going to be able to get results. Okay. So we set a probability of it happening. Let's say 50%. Half of the people you build it for will achieve it. Half of them won't. So that's a 50% probability. Now, the pricing formula is the following. We want to take the yearly revenue potential times probability of the outcome times 10%. That gives you the upfront fee for your build and release offer. Okay. So if it's 300K times 50% probability times 10% of the probability and the potential, that gives us $15,000 upfront. Okay. So that means that when you're going and selling this 25K a month infrastructure, right, you charged $15,000 upfront, and you can ask for 10 to 25% of the contribution, right? So whatever you add on top of what they were doing, you take 10 to 15%, 25% for the length of your program. Okay. Now, here is how Gym Launch applied the same kind of like value model. Okay. So at 23, he left his consulting job. At 24, opened 5 gym locations. At 26, he closed all of them and lost everything. 26, he got back into launching gyms and lost everything the second time. Okay. And then in desperation, started licensing model as a Hail Mary, and it worked. Okay. Now, what he was licensing is every single solution he had figured out, the whole infrastructure he was using to scale his own gyms. Okay. So as an example, if you're a gym owner, you have the following problems. You can't generate enough profits to make sense of being an owner. You can't generate enough lead flow. You can't get leads to show up. You can't get to close deals on the phone. You can't deliver a quality experience the service to new members. You can't get members to stay after a few months or buy more. Okay. So here's how Gym Launch was able to beat every single lead gen agency and dominate. Okay. Because I'm going to show you the transformations. It's pretty amazing what he did. Average lead gen agency offers, they just offer local lead gen. So they're just showing lead flow. Like, how are you going to scale a gym when you're just giving me leads? Like, that's useless, right? And that's why most local agencies, they can only charge $1,000 to $2,000 a month at most. Gym Launch went to the same market, the same broke gym owners who can only make $12,000, $15,000 per month and profit $2,000 a month, sold them a $16,000 package. Because he was like, hey, I know you need a new offer. I know you need lead gen. I know you need appointment setting. I know you need sales. I know you need a fulfillment. Would you be willing to pay me for $16,000 and never have to deal with these problems ever again? You want to know the outcome? Right? He went from losing everything to clearing 17 million profits a year later. That's insane. Like, guys, I don't know if you guys understand this. He went from being broke, losing everything twice, to building and releasing these infrastructures and these protocols that he had, right, into gyms, and made 3 million profit 6 months after launching the offer, 17 million the following 12 months. That's impressive. That's amazing, right? And if you're a lead gen agency trying to sell to gyms, you can expect to be disrespected by how low your retainer will be and how much, and the gym owner complaining about your $1,000 to $2,000 a month retainer, while, Hormozi just solved everything, right? He helped them build a new offer, $600 upfront instead of them charging the $100 a month. He built their ads, their targeting, their sales funnel. He built their nurturing. He built their sales script. He built their fulfillment infrastructure, an automated fulfillment infrastructure, actually. And then he helped them retain and design their ascension models, which is amazing, right? If you guys haven't read the book Gym Launch Secrets, you guys should read it. It's beautiful, right? Important thing to notice. Alex didn't get smarter or uncover some new secrets on how to help the gym industry. All he did was reposition and package into a new offer the insights, systems, and methods that make it inevitable for a gym not to scale. It took him from having to fly every month to be a lead gen agency and a closer, struggling to sustain $100,000 a month, to building and releasing the same infrastructure, protocol he was following in a leveraged way. His time wasn't needed. He was just building and releasing the systems and the insights and the data that he had acquired from doing it, okay? And he made $17 million. Good job, Hormozi, if you're watching this. For Oliver, who I shared at the beginning of this training, I want to actually break down kind of like the repositioning of his offer. Okay, so he went from helping coaching agencies to scale, charging them $500 a month. He had 60 clients, making $30,000 a month. To it's pretty crazy to actually even did a podcast with him. I was like, hey, you are crazy serving 60 new clients a month. That's insane. That's impressive, right? And he instead just started being like, hey, I'm going to build and release the $50,000 a month lead gen agency infrastructure. Instead of just coaching you, I'm going to build and release the infrastructure, right? Your offer, your acquisition, your fulfillment. And he made 75K a month just by selling 6 people, right? That's 10 times less people to deal with, and he 2x'd his revenue in a single month. That's 30 days after. Okay, imagine going from 60 people you have to serve to 6 people and making double the money, right? That's pretty great. So that's kind of like the value creation, right? So change the positioning of your offer, solve the gap. Okay, you don't have to do it through done for you. You don't have to do everything done for you. You can just document it, turn it into a system, into a protocol. Some of it you need to do some done for you, but and then pick the most profitable segment of the marketplace. Talk to the people who can get the biggest ROI, who can afford the ROI, who can almost be guaranteed results, and who can easily be found. Then charge high ticket plus a percentage on the back end. Okay. That's the value creation process, okay? Now, the acquisition model. In order for us to scale, we've kind of like dialed in this simple process, which is we need a value funnel, okay? Or actually, I don't want to go into it right now. So I need a process to get 100 leads per day, okay? I need to be able to scale my acquisition channel to 100 leads per day. And then I need to be able to book 10 to 30 appointments per day, okay? If that infrastructure doesn't allow me to get 10 to 30 calls a day, I don't want it. And I need to be able to close 1 to 3 deals per day, okay? To be, clearing $500,000, $1 million a month, okay? Once we've validated everything about your offer, the who, the price point, we need an infrastructure, a machine that converts energy and resources into money predictably. And this is kind of like the acquisition infrastructure, right? One funnel, one value funnel, an ad campaign that can be scaled to 100 leads per day. That gives us the $500K a month lead flow infrastructure. One appointment setting infrastructure that can handle reaching out to 500 to 1,000 plus leads daily and generate 10 to 30 plus calls a day. Okay, this is not your IG funnel. Okay, I know a lot of people are pushing IG funnels. It's crazy. And this gives us a sustainable $500K a month appointment setting infrastructure. Okay, one closing framework where we sell infrastructures and not just sell information or sell it as a service, and allowing us to close $10,000 plus offers daily. So you need a specific closing framework, okay? Most people scaling with ads and funnels still think that they can happily and profitably scale with the following. They think they can just spend money on ads, get people to opt in or get leads, get them to see a VSL, and get them to book a call themselves, and then redirect them to somewhere else, right? If you're doing this, right? If you try to spend more money on a simple funnel like this, you'll go bankrupt. And primarily because of all the noise and distraction and decision fatigue your market is feeling, okay? You have probably 50, 100 ads and 100 different messaging that is seen by your prospect. What makes you think that you're going to be profitable by just being the 51st messaging that he gets? Right? Like, it's not going to work. The one we implement for all our partners looks like this. We still have the same thing at the top, but what is most important is what happens. I'm going to try to zoom in. Is what happens once people opt in. Once they opt in, we have a growth specialist, SMS, dial the lead. Okay. We still have emails, 12 email sequence. We send them to the Facebook group. There's another growth specialist who's starting a conversation. We have attention generating sales assets and attention converting sales asset that they have to consume. You have retargeting ads, okay? But this funnel here makes miracles. I'm going to show you guys some of the returns we get. It's pretty bonkers, right? What it does here is that it solves the main problems that would keep you from the financial position of not being able to provide for yourself, your loved ones, and to drive a Porsche GT3 in winter. It's okay to drive a Porsche in summer, but you really know you made it when you're driving it in winter. I'm saying this because the dealership is like, oh, you shouldn't drive a Porsche in winter. I'm like, well, my funnel is profitable enough. I can drive whatever I want. Okay. So this prevents us from the following issues. High cost per lead. We'll lead with value in exchange of their data. Low self-book rate. We don't actually care if they book a call. We build mechanisms dialing team, sequences, sales assets that make it inevitable for every single lead not to be offered, if they're qualified, of course, an appointment 5 minutes after opting in for value. Okay? Low closing rate, long sales cycle. We craft sales letters that are belief shifting and force consumption before and after the sales call. This allows us to speak with prospects who believe what we want them to believe in, and the close is now a matter of logistics. Okay? We never have anyone who's like, oh, hey, Serge, like, why should I spend 20 grand with you? I mean, I don't know. Why? You tell me why, right? And this happened the first moment I started kind of like, instead of selling appointment setting, I started selling it as an infrastructure. People were like, okay, yeah, cool. Just send me the invoice, paid 10, 15 grand. It was beautiful, right? Now, what is some of the impacts of this infrastructure? This acquisition model scales really rapidly. We're 6-7 calls per day, no more place to book. $300 spent, 51 booked calls. We had this client who went from having $2 in his bank account to 15K cash collected, right? In the local niche. We just hit 20K in sales. Main problems right now are not time or cash, are time, not cash related. Imagine going from $2 to saying that, hey, your problems now is not cash related. That's the most beautiful thing ever, right? And then booked twice as many calls in the last 24 hours than in the last 2 months, right? That's how impactful this kind of like model can be, right? And then we have a bunch of different funnels that you guys can, a bunch of different results from different niches and industries. I don't want to go into that because it can be pretty long. Now, combining a high ticket build and release offer with this acquisition infrastructure makes you unstoppable. Let me explain why. The main thesis is that you're paid to acquire clients, right? Now, it might not make sense if I say it that way. So essentially what it works is every time you try to spend money, most businesses, they have to spend money and then recoup their investment a month or 2 or 3 after the client has jumped in. The thing with this model, this value model offer and the acquisition is that you get paid every time. You're profitable every time you get a client, right? And then that client affords you the next client profitably, right? So imagine, let's use this case example. Imagine you have $500 on ads. You get $50 leads. On average, it costs you $10. 10 to 20% of them book a call. That's 5 to 10 calls. 20% closing rate means you get 1 to 2 new clients. Average ticket price, 10K. So that means that if you close 1 to 2 clients, you make 10 to 20K from ads. What are the outcomes? Well, you liquidate the ad cost. 5% goes to the setter. Let's say $500. 10% goes to the closer. That's $1,000 for closing. 5% is ad cost. That's $500 that we picked. The profit is 10K the deal. Your cost to acquire a client is $2,000. Your cost to fulfill is 2.5K, right? So CAC after from the deal you collected is 8K. That's profit. And then after you fulfill, you're left with $5,500. Okay. Would you find $500 for ads if it could generate you over $10,000 profit every single time without you having to do anything? Right? And how long would you keep finding $500 to spend on ads? As long as money exists, right? Because you're literally, every $500 you spend, you get 1 or 2 deals that equal 10 to 20K. And you're 5.5K profit on each deal. So if you close 2, that's $10,000. You spent $500 on ads. You paid the people to get you the appointment, to get you the person to convert. And you also have 2.5K to pay someone else to fulfill on the infrastructure. And you're just there making videos like this, right? So it's like, it's the beauty is not that you're just profitable. It's you're profitable after you've removed yourself from the whole acquisition and the fulfillment. That's where you become a business owner. The issue with the traditional agency and low ticket prices and this and that is that even if you're profitable, your time is still needed. You're the one who probably booked the appointment. You're the one who probably closed the deal. And you're probably going to have an onboarding call with the client. That's crazy. I don't care if I don't care if you're making 20K profit. If your time is still involved in acquisition and fulfillment, your business is broken, right? And that's why the beauty here is that everything, you don't have to do anything to acquire clients. You just pay for it. You don't have to do anything to get your clients' results. You just pay for it with money, right? Now, once the unit economics are validated, it's time for scale. That's how Hormozy was able to go from 3 million in 6 months. Well, going from broke to 3 million in 6 months and to 17 million profit in 12 months. You don't do this type of scaling this fast if your unit economics are not good, right? Imagine if he had to close deals. Imagine if he had to talk to every client who signed up. Even if his offer was that good, he would have never gone from 3 mil to 17 mil. That's impossible because his time can't infinitely scale, right? It's not that he had better ad funnels. He just had the right offer at the right price and a dialed-in acquisition infrastructure that solves for a good cost per lead, good cost per book call, and a great closing rate, okay? Now let's go into fulfillment. We're gonna get through it, guys. Don't worry. We're getting close. Fulfillment model. Delivering a build and release offer and making sure another entity leverages the protocol to see decent results is not an easy project. We figured out a way to do it for 40 plus business per month at our peak. And that was 40 new offers, 40 new VSLs, 40 new outbound campaigns, and 15 to 90 trained setters per place per month, and optimizing their whole infrastructure with clients to deliver results once we built it, okay? Most people can't even handle 3 new clients per month from one single service. How were we able to do it for 30 to 40 businesses per month successfully, right? And successfully deliver, infrastructure with 3 to 5 different mechanisms, right? Because every infrastructure we built, it wasn't just one service. We had to solve for many different problems. In order to pull it off, we had to simplify fulfillment with the following model, okay? We simplified it in 3 steps. The onboarding infrastructure that can easily handle 10 clients per week. The clarity infrastructure, okay? I'm gonna walk you guys through everything. That gives the insights and the protocol that helps the client get clarity on the protocol and the infrastructure we're going to build. And then the third step was the implementing and releasing part of the service. Okay. So we would release systems or talent or both. And that thing that we built and released in their company would create the inputs that create the outputs. Okay. Now, 3 simple phases of delivery allowed us to go from struggling to make 30K a month and sustain that, to being able to fulfill 600K a month in revenue with a team of 12. So when we're doing 600K a month, I had a team of 12 people. Okay. Now here is the process. When you design this build and release process, you want to kind of like split everything in 3. You want to have the onboarding process, you want to have the generating results phase, and you want to have the retention phase. Okay. We would sell the program as a 4-month process, but it would only take us 4 weeks to build and release the whole thing. And that created a great experience for our clients. Okay. I don't need to, so I can go through this real quick, but you have the onboarding phase, you have the process of collecting data. Okay. Then you have a community, then you have the onboarding call, generating calls, the results. I'm going to show you guys shortly what it looks like. And then the retention, the downsell of the upsell. So the onboarding phase took less than 48 hours. Every single client who's paid an invoice, if they're not onboarded in 24 hours, it's because they can't be onboarded, because they tell us that, hey, it's too fast. Okay. But every single client, 24 to 48 hours need to be onboarded, right? Invoices paid, agreement signed, onboarding failed, onboarding call scheduled, joins community, welcome message, verify that all the assets have been received internally and externally, conduct onboarding call, set expectations. Okay. And this is all automated, by the way. This is, we don't really, just mapped it out this so you guys can see it, but this was all done in an onboarding infrastructure that we built, leveraging funnels, Airtable, all that good stuff. Okay. Now the generating results phase is broken up in 3 parts, in 3 steps. There's the clarity and decision phase, which is providing your clients with the what and the why behind each component and each deliverable. Then there is the setup and launch part, which is building out and launching each mechanisms, right? And then there's the third part, which is optimization, ongoing process after you've launched the whole thing in their business, right? And here is what it looks like. You need to pick what are each mechanisms that you're going to deliver into that business. What do they need to know insight wise? And is it going to be a talent or is it going to be a system that you build and release? And then the optimization phase is on a weekly basis. We collect data. We'll see if it's in KPI. If it's not in KPI, then we will build out an optimization plan, send it back to the client. The following week, we'll collect data. If it's in KPI, cool, we get to scale them. We do more. If it's not, set up another optimization plan. And next week, we collect more data. We're like, okay, cool, you're not in KPI. Here's what we need to do, right? Now, you would do this for not every single mechanism that you build in a company necessarily needs to be optimized. It might just be a one-off thing, but one or two may need to be checked on and optimized, okay? And this would be like a 60, 90-day process. And then you have the schedule of the launch process, okay? The beauty of this process and what makes it scalable is that it's a protocol, a productized way of delivering a service, which means that anyone can be taught on how to execute each step, and they'll be able to deliver it as well as you can, the founder, okay? That's what makes this model so scalable. Remove all the guesswork, all the, the personalization that creates operational drag, and then we map out the whole protocol and delegate it to a team of specialists. So that means that for me, when I was placing the setters, I had a specialist, a leader leading that department on trained setters. When I had the ads, we have a leader taking care of that. When I have the offer creation, I have a growth consultant doing that, okay? So that means that I'm not actually needed, not needed. I can be smart sometimes, but I was not needed. And not being needed is what makes a company scalable, okay? Any business that requires the founder's thoughts, decisions, and time is not a scalable business, no matter how much money you're making, okay? Money is made up. Time is not infinite, okay? We will leave this planet, okay? So we don't have time to be working all our life, okay? Now, the next process, the next model is the moat creation model. Like I said before, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Market dynamics make it hard for someone with a great offer, a great acquisition infrastructure, a great fulfillment to stay profitable and alive for over a decade. The amount of businesses that go out of business after a decade is like 80+%, okay? And I know this because I've spent the last 9 months learning about how capital allocators, investors make decisions on what companies to invest in and which ones aren't worth investing or acquiring, okay? And from this research and the results that we've been seeing with our clients, I've decided to add this fourth model into how we help our clients scale. And that is creating a moat, okay? For those who don't know, it's like a moat is essentially the thing around. I'm sure everyone saying this knows what a moat is, but it's essentially creating a competitive edge that makes it so that you're hard to compete with, okay? And then what we're really expert at is building a personal brand on YouTube, okay? Then building a community off of all the traffic and all the assets we're building, okay? From you organically or even paid, then we turn it into an asset, okay? And then what we're even better at is building demonstration assets, okay? What this does is when you have YouTube going crazy and you build a personal brand, then you build a community, then you build some great sales assets, you have the highest value clients, and you lower your cost to acquire clients like crazy, okay? Let me show you why. Mario started working with us and then, like a year and a half ago, quit his job, and then his six-figure job, by the way. I think he was pretty young, around 22 or 21. He quit his job and then scaled his, lead gen B2B short form content offer to 10K per month after launching it, and then he ended up going pretty heavy on YouTube and kind of like pushing a higher, build and release offer, and then he went from literally being a beginner, no prior case study, to making $18,000 a week with no ads, purely organic and some outreach, okay? It's not every day that you find offers and in a commoditized space too, like short form content, scaling. Everybody's doing it nowadays, so it's pretty impressive to be able to scale organically to $60,000 a month, and not have to spend on ads, not have to do anything, right? And he did this in 6 months, by the way, right? Now, maybe to show you bigger case studies of this model, I accidentally made $1 million in less than 90 days, more than once, okay? This was 2022. We made $1 million in Q4. And what's even impressive is that I only spent $7,000 on ads in that 3 months, okay? And before that, I wasn't spending money on ads, okay? And this is kind of like, you can see it, 7.4K spent on ads. And then I did it again. This past quarter, we did over $1 million on Stripe. This time I spent 47K on ads in 90 days, which is the most money I've ever spent in a quarter on marketing, which was still, I mean, I know people who are spending 60K only to make 200K a month, right? And I'm like, how can you tolerate that business, right? Like, it's pretty risky for me to spend 40-50% of my contribution on marketing. That's crazy. That's a crazy business, in my opinion. It's pretty risky, okay? And also another thing I like to share is an example of kind of like these influencers and these entrepreneurs. Why have most of these entrepreneurs hit it big only when they stopped focusing so much on what they sell and how they sell it, okay? And let me tell you why. Hormozi was a great acquisition, marketer, growth closer. He might have been maybe the best of the best, but he was still pretty average. He was still experiencing pretty average returns when he was running a gym, or maybe even gym launch, right? But then he starts acquiring attention and building a personal brand and an audience. Then he builds a $200 million a year portfolio in like less than a year, right? A huge audience and a leveraged offer. Let's look at, and by the way, I think right now they might be way beyond this 200 million. I did it maybe like 6 months ago when I drew this. Iman. Iman, great. He scaled an agency to 6 figures per month, but, can he necessarily claim that he was the best business operator? No. But he builds a 3 million, 4 million subs on YouTube and starts making $20, $35 million a year. And now anything he touches turns into gold. It's not because he's the greatest sales guy or the greatest marketer. He probably maybe doesn't even know how to open an ads manager anymore, okay? But who cares? Those are not leveraged skills. Those are commoditized skills. So I don't care if you're a great media buyer. I don't even care if you're a great closer. I don't care about what you're good at, because I can find 100 more people who are good at that, probably better than you, okay? So what these guys understood is that, being good is not enough. You actually need attention. The Rock makes tens of millions of dollars after a 20-year career, is worth $300 million, starts going crazy on Instagram, starts building an amazing brand, owns 30% of a $1 billion company. 30% of a $3.2 billion tequila brand, right? Time that it took to scale this brand to $3 billion, $4 billion, probably a few years, okay? Conor McGregor, same thing. Goes from $25 million in UFC payouts to making $100 million in his fight with Floyd. In the year he fought Mayweather, he made $100 million, and $30 million of it came from one fight with Floyd, right? And he also built a whiskey brand that was valued at $600 million. He ended up selling it, I believe, right? So Kim Kardashian, right? She's not the only beautiful woman with a nice butt, but she's the only beautiful woman who's built a $4 billion Skims clothing brand, right? And is worth $1.7 billion because of her looks and I guess what she can do in bed, I guess, right? Just to give you context on how impressive this transformation is, Lululemon generated its first $700 million in revenue in 2011 when it was founded in 1998, okay? It took Lululemon's 13 years to do what Skims did in 3, okay? It's impressive. So not building a brand not building this moat of owning attention is the most irresponsible thing you can do as a founder. Okay? Because all these offer, I have the best offer, I have the acquisition, I have the fulfillment. These are not that leveraged. Anybody can do this, right? But no one can really build a great audience and a great fulfillment that have almost zero marginal cost of replication. I was making good money here, but when I attached to this, I made $500,000 a month with like 6,000 subscribers, which is why I force every partner to get on their game with content, and we help them do that. Okay. And then, I was making, if you can look at here, I went from 30K a month. I was the great appointment setter on Instagram. I had VAs. I had 100 VAs. I was a great growth consultant. I was stuck at 30K a month in the basement. A year later, 2 years later, I built a little tiny audience of 6,000 people. I built a $7.2 million in ARR company, right? And I was making 30K per day by 9 a.m., okay? You're not going to make the same revenue you did in a month before 9 a.m. because you worked hard or because you're a great appointment setter. Forget it, okay? Now, let's go as to why moats are super important, or what moats we actually focus on. There are two moats. There are two main moats they look at when evaluating how strong a company is. And of course, there are more competitive things that you can focus on, but these are the easiest ones to create in this model, right? And by the way, a moat refers to a competitive advantage or barrier to entry that protects a company from competitors, thereby allowing it to maintain its market position and sustain above average returns over a long time. You don't just want to win in 2024. You want to win in 25, in 2035, in 2065, okay? It's great to win for this month. It's great to win next year. But can you do it for 3-5 decades? Okay? You want to win for 5 decades? Please pay attention. The number one thing we want to focus on is distribution. Distribution as a moat refers to the strategic advantage gained by a company through its superior ability to deliver something to the people. Like as an example, if Coca-Cola woke up today and wanted to sell build and release offers, well, they have 26 million retailers who can distribute whatever they want to sell. Okay? This simple asset makes them capable of making any other product successful. They have distribution. They can acquire a business like Prime from Logan Paul and KSI and make it scale faster due to the fact that they can distribute the products a lot faster. Okay? Hormozy, with his 1 million subs on YouTube or 2 million subs, he can take any single offer, and because of his distribution, boom, build the best C-suite for each company he partners up with, raise capital, right? He can literally make miracles happen because of distribution, right? Now, the second moat we're working on is branding. Distribution and branding can kind of like be a little similar, but they're not the same. Okay, and let me explain why. The wealthiest person on the globe doesn't own a tech business. He's not in the energy businesses. Okay, he owns a portfolio of businesses that sell things that have zero utility, other than the fact that they're used to signal status. Okay, you buy it because you want to show others that you're more. You're wealthier, you're richer, you're in a better position, okay? And that guy is Bernard Arnault, okay? I speak French a little bit, so not a little bit, je parle français. And he's worth $211 billion from France. How do you make sense of this guy being worth more than a guy who's sending us to Mars, or someone who's built the biggest retail business in the world, Amazon, right? Larry Ellison, right? Founder of Oracle. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. These are people who are changing the world. But this guy who sells the following: Pucci, Laura Piana, Louis Vuitton, Celine, Dior, Kenzo, ridiculously useless stuff, okay, is worth more than people who are changing entire generations when it comes to technology or how smart we are, right? Let me tell you why he's the wealthiest person alive today on Forbes. It's because he's selling something that has no utility, and he has brand. Every single thing he sells has brand. Okay? The reason I made $1 million from 7K in ads, the reason why I ended up making $1 million from spending 40K on ads, isn't because I was the best growth expert. It was purely from the fact that people wanted to work with me, from the relationship and positioning I had created from solving their problems before they even had to pay. Okay? The same thing that they would refuse to buy at $2,000 a month would be purchased with me at $15,000. Okay? Brand as a moat creates barriers to entry for competitors by fostering customer loyalty, trust, and preference. A strong moat allows a company to command premium pricing and attract and retain customers more effectively and withstand competitive pressures more resiliently. Okay? And that is something that we need to do with every partner that we work with. Okay? If you don't have a brand, that's totally fine. But just be ready to not make money 2 years into your business, because everybody's going to try to copy what you do, and nobody's going to necessarily choose you over others. They're going to choose the ones who have brands. They're going to choose me over you consistently. Okay? And we do that, but YouTube, we pick YouTube because it's the best platform, guys. Do not argue with me. Okay? Community. Okay? We build an asset. The community part kind of like gives us distribution. So whenever we launch a new thing or anything, we can go back to that asset. Okay? And demonstration assets kind of like helps us convert people. Okay? Now, every partner either already has a channel on YouTube, or we help them create one. We then build a community platform where we can drive all the organic and paid traffic to. And on a weekly basis, we create demonstration assets that nurture and have call to actions for a small percentage of that community to buy our infrastructure offers. Okay? This simple process makes it so that we can have the highest profit margins due to the fact that clients who trust you before they purchase tend to spend, and this is data stuff, like I literally reviewed the data from people who were cold to people who had been educated and actually gotten value from us. People who've been educated spend 3 times more money. Okay? That means that if someone is going to spend 5K who doesn't know me, the educated person is going to be willing to spend 15K, right? And the sales cycle is infinitely shorter, right? Helping us reduce the cost to acquire clients. Now, let's go into one of the most important piece. If you can please pay attention to what I'm about to share, because this can change the game. And this actually is going to make your perception of the model that I'm introducing seem like, whoa, this is insane. Okay, so check it out. Retention and ascension model, right? This last model might be the most exciting of all of them. See, one thing everyone tends to forget is that a business is only as valuable as how predictable and sustainable it is for future cash flow, right? And sustainable its future cash flow is, right? Everyone focuses on client acquisition. For them, the answer to all business problems is to give me more leads, more appointments, and new closed deals, right? So, hey, we just lost a client. Okay, let's go acquire a client. Oh, hey, we're struggling with this. Oh, let's go get more leads. Let's get more appointments, right? That's the only solution they know. Now, this problem creates a growth ceiling. And with this last model that we apply for partners, I'll show you how it never becomes a problem, okay? When you lead with your build and release offer, you acquire businesses that are willing to invest good capital into a solution and who are able to execute properly, okay? That's the first thing here. When we're pushing with build and release, we're able to charge a lot of money to people who are capable of executing, okay? But what this does is that it gives us access to see great insights and to acquire great insights and great data from the application of your build and release protocol of your infrastructure. As an example for us, we have insights into some of the most important appointment setting channels, right? Data on like what booked calls, which subniche, how many calls did it book, who booked it, how did they book it, what was the messaging, everything, okay? We have insights into how much money is being spent on ads, how many leads, how much cash has been collected, okay? We have insights into the offers that are being sold, right? We know who's collecting the most amount of money. We know which niche. We know, was it just, an upsell? Was it a downsell? What was it? Okay. We know calls being booked. We know everything about everything. Okay. We know what niches they're targeting. Okay. If we can see different trends that most people cannot see. We know how they generate over $500,000. Okay. And that's the second thing. Okay. So the fact that we're selling build and release and we're going through a lot of businesses, 10, 20, 30, 40 new businesses per month, it allows us to collect a lot of data from these businesses. Okay. Now, the third thing is that now that we have data, we can now use this data and insights to create a community continuity offer for the businesses you've built an infrastructure for. Okay? Let me repeat that. You now turn the insights and the data into a business offering, into a solution, right? Now, this becomes your leveraged retention offer, as you just need the system to collect the data and a system to share the data with your community. Imagine if after someone just paid you 10, 15, 20, 30 grand, they stayed after to pay you 2.5K, 5K a month to access the insights and the data from 500 businesses that are spending millions of dollars to scale. Okay? I'd be willing to spend 2K to get insights on what it is to spend 100 grand a month on ads. Okay? You collect it once, you get paid infinitely for it, which is a 90% gross margin business, and that's where we want to go. Right? Let me show you how Hormozi applied this to Gym Launch. And this is what made Gym Launch a worthy asset to purchase as an investor. So Gym Launch was kind of like starting with the, kind of like a front end build and release offer. They called it licensing. I don't want to go the licensing route because licensing is too much of a course type of thing, right? You don't want to be considered as a course. You want to be considered as a coach, which is why we're trying to deliver tangible things. Instead, I do believe that Hormozi were still pushing like tangible things, right? They had ads, they had systems, they had everything, which is like, yes, a licensing model, but they actually would build them. They calling it the licensing. I'm calling it almost like, hey, we're building and releasing this thing. Okay. So they would sell for 16K, get high profits, leverage, afford the best talent and get the best results. And then since they have generated a lot of results for a lot of businesses, guess what? The way they would build the business to be even more profitable is that every person who would see results, they would push them into the continuity offer, which is called Gym Lords. What Gym Lords were paying for is data, right? So they would pay 3.2K a month for 12 months and beyond. So they would sign a 12-month commitment. And what Hormozi was doing at Gym Launch is that he would spend $50,000 a month to $100K a month to test the best performing gym ads in different states. And then he would just dump it into this community, right? He was able to retain the best and most successful clients into and build the MRR. And he had at some point 500 gyms paying him 3.2K a month, which is $1.6 million in MRR. And what's even more impressive is that they had 1% churn. You know how crazy that is? Even in SaaS, this is hard to attain. Forget about service business, right? So they got people results and they were like, okay, well, these people are still going to need to solve more problems. And the most recurring problem is I need to change the creative. I need to change the copy. So they were like, hey, we're going to do it at scale. And then we're just going to take the data and insights. We're going to dump it. Just subscribe for 3.2K a month. Okay. I believe at some point they said that they had almost 1,000 people paying this. Okay. And then since they have this back end that is becoming even more profitable than this front end, right? Then at some point they lowered the front end offer and just try to get as many people in here. Okay. Now, no investor in their right mind would acquire a coaching business that is so destructible here. Okay. But they would pay for a community of 500 to 1,000 gym owners paying 3.2K a month to access data and insights from 100K a month worth of ad spend. This is the most leveraged service you can push. Okay. And guys, this is how he was able to sell Gym Launch and Prestige Labs, for $46 million in an all cash deal. Okay. It's not because he was able to make millions here. It's because he was able to build a continuity offer that retained every business that he would build and release the solution into. He would retain them. He would retain the most successful people, right? And he built a multiple 8-figure company, just a retention backend, which is amazing. Okay. Here is where things get even more interesting. The model gets even more interesting after you've built the community. Okay. And here is why. Once you take people from here, okay, I'll show you guys. Once you take people from the build and release to a continuity offer where people pay you, thousands of dollars every month for just the data and insights, okay? What you need to realize is that now you've put the most successful people in a community. Well, what that means is you've built a pool of amazing companies and founders, right? Well, then it's inevitable for you to have that urge to be like, oh my God, I'd love to be partnered up with this founder. I'd love to acquire this business because they're printing cash. Okay. That's where the model of partnerships and acquisitions comes in. Okay. And this is the beauty that the build and release kind of like angle that most people don't. I don't talk about this because not everyone is going to be at this level to be able to execute on this, but this is what I'm doing. Just to be front with you, okay? I build and release infrastructures. I retain people. I build up communities, communities of some of the top experts. And I'm like, hey, I like you as an operator. I'm willing to bet money on you. Let's go scale this offer together, okay? Or I can just acquire their businesses, right? The beautiful thing is that you'll now have access to 100 plus founders who are building something amazing. And as someone with more leverage, if you've implemented everything I've shared, you will have talent, more capital than your clients, okay? You can decide to partner or acquire their businesses and support the founders even more to 10x their businesses, okay? Imagine every year picking 5 to 10% of businesses you've built an infrastructure for and adding them to a portfolio of companies where you get 25% of their cash flow. Imagine every business is doing $1 to $5 million a year, and your goal is to scale each past $20 million a year in, let's say, 2 to 3 years. If you take the next decade to acquire, it shouldn't take you a decade to acquire 10 businesses, but let's say you have 10 businesses, all, printing $20 million a year. It creates a portfolio of companies doing $200 million a year. Let's say they're bringing in 40% profit margins. Well, you're getting 80% profit from the portfolio. If you get 25% of that cash flow, you're making $20 million a year, and you're not the CEO of any of the businesses. And these businesses fund their own growth. They don't need capital from you. You've reached the most leveraged level of this game of business, which is owning shit that prints money. Okay. If I was the smartest person, I would find someone like me who's sitting down and making a training this long, and I'd be like, oh my God, this guy has potential. Hey, can I own a piece of your company and just give you $500,000, or just give you access to my reach, right? Or give you access to our talent. Okay. The most successful people own things. They're not hard workers. They're not like hustlers. They're not waking up every day making training videos or calling leads and this and that. That's not what we need to do. What we need to do is aspire to be at the most leveraged that we can be. Okay. Eventually, you can shut down your build and release offer and even the continuity offer and simply make the protocol free and just acquire the businesses that get the most growth, like this business is doing. I'm sure we all are seeing what acquisition.com is doing. They just said, hey, we're actually going to skip the build and release scaling infrastructures or selling protocols and licensing things. We're going to skip the continuity offer. We're just going to go straight to acquiring businesses and give the information away for free. Okay. Now, why would you shut down everything? Because this vehicle can take you to $1 billion a year faster and more effortlessly than anything else. So why would you chase 10 million a year when you can make $1 billion? You know what I mean? Like it's pointless, right? And that's what we're doing with every partner. Start with a build and release, then get them into building assets and infrastructures that get them to become an insight and data-driven company, okay? And sell that, scale that to potentially 6 figures plus a month, then get them to see the top clients in their community, acquire these businesses and go apply the same protocol to scale them to build a portfolio of companies doing 9 figures, $1 billion a year, right? All right, summary. Let's summarize this. So what we saw today was the value creation model. I showed you guys how we go about creating build and release offers, how we pick the most profitable segment of the marketplace, how we decide on the pricing. Then I showed you the acquisition, right? The value funnel, the dialing infrastructure, closing infrastructure, okay? Then I showed you the fulfillment, okay? How you onboard people, how you give them clarity, how you implement and release. Then I showed you guys the importance of creating a moat, which is YouTube, community, then content, sales assets. Then I showed you the real winner here, which is the ascension process and how we can retain and ascend every person that we help so we can build some of the most profitable companies ever, okay? So these are the 5 models we apply in our partners' businesses to help them, create infinitely more competitive and profitable offers, scale them past 100K to 500K a month in 12 months or less, fulfill on millions of dollars worth of infrastructures effortlessly, protect their profits by having a moat, create new revenue paths with recurring revenue, with revenue share from partnerships, and potentially get into the world of acquisitions, okay? All the transformations you saw at the beginning of this presentation leverage these models. Most of them didn't complete the whole thing because it's a long journey, right? I'm 3 years in and I still haven't necessarily completed everything I just showed you. But it's the only thing that helps them experience better returns than their competition. It's hard work. Okay? So, one thing I want to walk you guys through is the growth formula, okay? So, which is actually the same as the definition of intelligence, right? The way you grow is that your rate of learning needs to match your rate of change. So that means that if you're learning something, let's say you learn how to make $5 million a month or $500,000 a month or 100K a month, okay? That doesn't necessarily make you deserving of making that money, okay? Or building that big of a successful company. Your rate of change needs to match the rate of learning, okay? So that means that you learn how to make $500,000 a month. You also take action of someone who makes $500,000 a month. You change your behavior, okay? You stop behaving as the person who makes 10K a month and you start taking action and making decisions from the perspective of someone who makes $500,000 a month, okay? And this is the quality, speed, and volume of everything here, okay? Someone who is smart acquires knowledge and skills faster, but they change behavior even faster. The reason why I went from 30K a month to 600K a month a year later, I know people who've built businesses and are still making 50K a month, 20K a month for the last 5 years. I'm like, what's going on? You're smart. You're doing better than most people in society, but why are you not changing your behaviors fast enough? So technically, they're not as smart as they think they are. Because being smart is not just being book smart. It's about changing behaviors, okay? Now, so what you need to do is maybe you're currently doing 20K profit per month. You just have the knowledge. You just spent, over an hour. I don't know how long this has been. And I just walk you through. Now what you need to do is execution, okay? To go from 20K a month to 100K a month profit, you could have all the knowledge you need. You're not going to get there unless you execute, okay? Now you have the knowledge to go ahead and actually do it. But let me actually walk you through the implementation process, okay? Was your time worthwhile on this training today? I don't know how long this was. I think it's pretty long. Hopefully it was worth your time, right? Did you learn stuff you didn't know before? Do you now understand why it's almost impossible to experience true scale until you change your model or models, right? Do you see how you can now turn your service or expertise into a build and release offer and start generating 100K to 100K a month or $100,000 a week in the next 6 to 12 months, right? Is it fair to say that using these insights, it is unreasonable for you not to have a significant advantage over your competition, okay? If we parted ways right now and you are left to your own devices to go off and do this on your own, it would be a worth ideal to pursue if that was your only option, but it is not. Okay, like I said at the beginning of this training, there's a second option, a second path where you can partner with me and leverage clientacquisition.io's resources to help you pivot into the growth creator model, selling infrastructures. Okay? And now I'm about to walk you guys through the actual process of becoming a growth creator partner with clientacquisition.io, right? There is this famous quote attributed to Archimedes that says that give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. Consider becoming a partner as your lever and a fulcrum to help you move the world. Here is what you get as a partner of ours, okay? The first thing is, it's your opportunity to become more than just a service provider or expert. When you become a partner, our job is to turn you into a growth creator. And here's where it's important. Growth creator is not just about someone who just helps people grow, okay? It's someone who designs protocols and infrastructures for growth, okay? But they also create content and insights that allows a specific market and niche to achieve growth, the growth they desire, and start living the life they want to live, okay? This means that it's not just enough for you to be a growth operator. You're committing to becoming a thought leader for your industry, someone worth paying attention to and following. Why is that important? I believe I've shared it. The new wealth is being created by people who own audiences. Therefore, I'd be doing a disservice to my partners by not encouraging them and giving them the infrastructure they need to own attention. Okay? I'm sure you know 5 other people who do the same thing as you. Clientacquisition.io's job as a partner is to help you become the only person worth following and investing with over the other hundreds and thousands of commoditized experts and service providers selling the same thing as you. Okay? The second thing is, as a partner, we'll create your build and release. We'll literally come up with a protocol. We'll come up with the deliverables, right? And position as an expensive ticket price, 10K, 25K plus, right? Or it might be 7K, depending on who you're going after, right? Because at the end of the day, the market dictates the price. It's not, we don't take care of that, right? So you don't have to worry about the deliverables. You don't have to worry about finding the best profitable segment of the market. You don't have to worry about pricing. We take care of that. We will design and build build and help you launch your 500K a month infrastructure. No more worries about lead flow. No more worries about appointments. No more worries about deal flow, right? We will help you design and launch the fulfillment infrastructure. We leverage externally to scale to 30, 40 plus build and release per month. No more worries of not being able to fulfill consistently. If you can't fulfill and generate results clients, you're not a business. You're scamming people, okay? So that's something that's super important for us, that we help you fulfill. We will help you launch and scale the most profitable funnel ever on YouTube and create a community from it. No more dealing with competition. Instead, have a pipeline of believers wanting to work with you, okay? When you're ready, we will help you build an infrastructure to start selling insight and data, eventually showing you how to partner and acquire businesses. No more selling services and having low profit margins because of the low barrier of entry in the space, okay? So we'll show you how we collect data. We'll show you how we built our retention offer from leveraging data, okay? And essentially we help you implement these 5 things as a partner, right? Introduce the 5 models into your business to make it bigger and more attractive asset that can cash flow 10 times more without needing you as the founder to be the sole decision maker, while increasing the durability of the cash flow. Okay. Now, what does it take to be a partner? Because this is not available to everyone. Like I said, you must be making a minimum of $25,000 a month with your business. You must have an edge in your market. You know how to get a specific niche, a specific result. You know how to do it faster and more effortlessly than anybody else. And you have successfully applied this insight and gotten a niche, the actual result, okay? You need to have a case study or multiple case studies. Your goal should be to scale past $250,000 to $500K per month. We don't want to partner with anyone who just wants to make $50K per month, right? That's not worth our time, right? You must have the capital to invest in the infrastructure needed to support the new scale. You want to make $100K, $400K, $500K a month profit with $30,000 a month systems or $30,000 a month talent, okay? You need to have at least $10,000 to $30,000 to start and launch all these models and the whole growth infrastructure, right? Now, how can you become a growth creator partner? We're opening up calendars. We had spent the last quarter not onboarding many new partners. because we had hit kind of like a big spike of people wanting to work with us. So we had to shut down. Now we're opening our calendars back again to find the next 5 partners. Okay. We're decreasing the onboarding of partners to 5 per month due to the nature of our model. We plan on scaling vertically with partners and not horizontally. Every partner we onboard, we get 15% of the upside that we help them generate in the next 6 to 12 months. Okay. And if you want to see how many people we get every week applying, it's crazy. We get 100 plus applications per week. Okay. So we actually have to end up canceling a lot of the calls, right? I'll show you guys kind of like the requirements of how it works. But to apply, you need to book in an implementation, a walkthrough call, right? I'm personally going to be doing the first few implementation and walkthrough calls after this training goes live. So if you're watching this and it just went live and you want to speak with me, then please book in a call, and you might end up speaking with me. If you're not speaking with me, you'll be speaking with Client Acquisition.io's growth consultant, who's paid $40,000 a month to audit your current model, offer, pricing, fulfillment, and most importantly, your current client acquisition infrastructure, right? How are you getting leads, appointment setting, sales process, okay? After the audit, if you qualify, we'll walk you through our personalized implementation roadmap and offer you the opportunity to become a partner in GCP, okay? Important, this implementation call won't be available for anyone due to the volume of calls. So we set up a system that cancels 40% of the calls automatically when you don't meet the requirements. 50% don't go past our discovery or vetting process, but we give you access to our scaling programs in the Natural Born Leader, which you can access to get you to the point where you can actually become qualified, okay? So all you have to do, just click this link. I'll leave it below, and you can just speak with me or our growth consultant, okay? Now, to even add an even greater incentive, okay, I'm about to walk you guys some of the bonuses that we're giving to our partners, right? This means that if you're part of the next 5 partners who work with us as growth creators, you're going to get access to these bonuses. FYI, this is over $250,000 in bonuses. Just FYI, okay? So there is a cap to these bonuses in time, so they're only going to be available until March 6th. Capacity, we can only handle 5 partners for these bonuses because it's a lot of value that we're delivering and it requires a great fulfillment for them. But let me walk you through them. Now, the only reason you'd want to work with us is to access more leverage. Therefore, we've added these bonuses to help you achieve more leverage than you know what to do with, okay? You're going to get access to the best performing offers, right? If you're working with manufacturing businesses, you're going to get to see how our partners, like Steve sells 25K packages up front and then 10K a month of retention to $20 million manufacturing businesses. You're going to get access to our breakdown of build and release offers, which is probably one of the fastest scaling offers that we have right now. Wyatt at 16 is making 30K in the first 9 days of the month, which is insane. 27K in cash collected in a week. Ecom build and release offers, growth infrastructures for restaurants or brick and mortar businesses. You're gonna get access, and of course I could go over more offers, but I've broken down enough offers at the beginning, so I won't go more in depth, but we have like 20, 30 plus different offers that we've built. You're going to get access to data from the best performing ads. Okay. So this is coming from 50 to 100K plus in ad spend, worth of data, solar, SaaS, recruitment, VA, coaches, closers, all that good stuff, right? Talent pools. This is one of the most amazing thing that our partners get access to. And then this is something that we just recently launched that we're going to test with the 5 new partners, which is giving them access to our talent pools, setters, dialers, closers, systems integrators, $3 an hour VAs. Okay. We've built all these pools. It costs a pretty penny to manage and to source. We've also built a SaaS for VAs that you get access to. Okay. $1 million a month / $5 million a month media buying protocol. We've built a team of growth consultants who've scaled ad campaigns from the top companies in the consulting and in the service space. Our team has experience scaling an agency to $5 million per month in the local lead gen space. Okay, 5 mil a month, not a coaching business, actual service, lead gen agency actually, right? Experience scaling a few high ticket offers to through 2 to 3 million a month. The next 5 partners will be able to leverage them when launching their campaigns. 1 mil a month downlink infrastructure and protocol. Spent over 5 figures for this. I recently purchased the build and release actually of a downlink infrastructure. Maybe if you do downlink infrastructures, I'd love to partner with you and help you scale. But I paid for it, and now it was being used to in a company doing $1 million a month. So now we're going to be applying this to for our partners. Okay, so you're going to get access to this. The same thing we use ourselves, you're going to get access to it. Okay, $5 million a month sales protocol. Okay, I recently paid $100,000 to get a sales consultant to come in and build a sales playbook that we're leveraging internally for our business. This same playbook will be leveraged by our partners to dial in their sales process and closing rate. Okay, the same sales consultant was hired by Gym Launch last year to train and ramp up their sales team. So it's pretty expensive, right? But you guys get to access it without having to spend $100,000. Okay, so pretty great guy, smart, closed himself $1 million in a month, right? Which is pretty crazy. And you're going to get access to our $1 million a month Webby infrastructure. Okay. For those who don't know, I do webinars pretty consistently. If you had to have me build it for you, it would cost you, $30,000 plus. But for partners who already have a good size audience, I'll personally help you launch the same webinar infrastructure we use to clear $250,000 in a week. Right. This is the same infrastructure Jason Fladlian taught to Hormozy for his webinars. I've created it. I've perfected it to the point where we do $100K to $250,000 with just 200 people, 300 people on a Webby, selling to the 1% of the 1% instead of trying to sell to everyone cheap products and courses or coaching programs. Okay. And this is just proof. Do 30K, 60K pretty consistently. It's nothing crazy. You guys are going to get access to our 500K to $1 million a month systems, right? So our systems department builds the backend of some of the largest offer in the same space. And we've templatized them for you to leverage them as soon as you launch your build and release offer so you can scale, right? Email flows, organic pipeline management, leads, nurturing email sequences, all that good stuff, dialers, all the good stuff, right? Tracking everything, okay? And another beautiful thing that we're going to do for these 5 partners is we're actually going to build you guys your 500K a month financial infrastructure, okay? Every partner will have our team build their financial systems in the first week or 2. No more worrying about tracking manually every expense and not knowing where you're losing money or how much profit you're taking home every month, okay? So we come in, zap everything with Stripe, PayPal, whatever, if you're using Wise, everything, okay? Track cash collected and commissions, receivables and payment plans, expenses, and then at the end of the month or at the end of the week, at the end of each day, you'll have daily reports. Where did every dollar go? And then A to Z business tracking, where you can track every single month, every single metric when it comes to finance in your business. Why do we? Another advantage to this is that we do this because we're incentivized to help you grow and track your profits, okay? Because if you're not making money, we're not making money. So we're incentivized to actually help you build these systems that you may not have, okay? Another thing that is priceless is the network. You'll be accessing top experts, growth creators, founders in different niches and learning from them. Think, AI, SaaS, e-com, high ticket service, coaches, consultants, agencies, brick and mortar, professional services, people going after lawyers, insurance, realtors, restaurants, right? And you get to access what they're doing. You get to access what they're building. And that's one of the most important things because for us, because we have so much data on all these niches, I get to build things that others can't build because they're only so focused on their own little thing. They're in like a little bubble. For us, we're well versed in a lot of different industries. So it gives us an edge over most service providers, over most growth experts, right? So you'll get access to the top 10% of founders in any niches, right? And this might be the most valuable one right? But deal flow, okay? The top 10% of all our whole community, right, are offered the opportunity to help us fulfill on deals that we work on. Okay, so as an example, I was in Cape Town a few weeks ago. I got an offer from a SaaS company that scaled to 400K a month in 8 months to help them scale to 20 mil a month, 20 mil a year, right? But I didn't have the bandwidth. But in this case, if I had a really dialed in SaaS partner, I could have been like, okay, I have a partner who's actually has a fulfillment and operator for growing SaaS companies. He knows exactly my thesis. He can actually go ahead and partner and actually do the execution. I could have sent him a $5 million a year company and they could have scaled it, right? So when you become a partner and showcase operational excellence, I'll be happy to partner with you on a bigger deal and have you become our fulfillment partner, okay? Bonus, I'll also ask you to create info products that can be used to educate our community and the audience, which inevitably sends you more traffic and deal flow from my own brand, okay? And another thing is, this is 200K a month worth of payroll. This costs me a shit ton of money, okay? And you'll have these resources allocated at your disposal to help you solve any obstacle you'll encounter. If you deal with a problem, I'm dealing with a problem, okay? So I'm giving every partner access to a $2 million a year infrastructure in the hopes that their insight and your solution that you're building can grow exponentially and that I can win further by helping you win bigger, okay? The first partner to join will also join our yearly retreat. So every year we host the best retreat in the entire online space, in my opinion, right? So we pick the top 15 partners and clients. We pick the best villas in the city, spend $10,000 a night to host the smartest and best operators in our community. Because life is hard, especially when you're building a business. It gets pretty hard, okay? So once a year, we'll take the best of the best, bring them to amazing locations in the world, have a lot of fun, and just enjoy our hard work, right? I'm not sitting here presenting all of this and then also showing up and then, not do some extravagant and not live an amazing life, right? So never forget that all this work you're doing is still so that you can experience life. It's like becoming good is not the prize. Experience is the thing we're actually looking for this lifetime, okay? So the first partner, you'll get to join us. You essentially just get your secure spot, the first partner who joins. This is almost $250,000 in bonuses that you can access as a partner. You can add it up. I've counted it, okay? Our guarantee, we have a guarantee too, right? Because we don't want you wasting your time with us. We'll help you implement the 5 models, okay? Build your offer, build your acquisition, help you with your fulfillment, help you with building a moat, help you with your ascension stuff and retention. And our goal is to help you be able to scale your current offer past 100K a month profit, eventually further $250,000 in profit per month. Okay, if you're doing $500,000 a month, that's what you should expect. And if after the length of the program and the partnership you haven't closed enough deal, we'll gladly give you your money back. Okay, and because we don't care. We might actually have to ask you and to refund you before, because if we work with someone who is not growing, it's actually a cost to us, to our business, and the way we're allocating a lot of resources. So it's more cost to give you our time and our resources than it is to actually not work with you, right? So this is why we don't care about give the guarantee. We actually care about people. We want to find the top operators, someone who has a great insight, someone who knows what he can do, someone who's maybe has a little audience. That's like the perfect, okay? Now, the application process is, we've blocked our calendars for the next week and to vet and onboard 5 new growth creator partners. This offer and bonuses are only available until we find the 5 partners or until March 6th, okay? If you apply and speak with my team after March 6th, most of these bonuses won't be available and you'll be put on a wait list until we're ready to onboard new partners, which might take another quarter or 2, okay? So all you have to do, click the link below and then speak either with me or with the growth consultant, okay? Because I'm going to be taking calls and vetting partners myself too, right? So this goes straight to me or my growth consultant, okay? Again, let me remind you of the requirements. Have an amazing solution. Have an amazing insight. Preferably data too. That would be amazing. That the market would go crazy for. So that means if you're a beginner, implementing these 5 protocols. If you're a beginner, how am I going to put $250,000 a month worth of resources to scale nothing? It's not going to work. So please don't book a call if you're a beginner, okay? Scale an offer price $25K a month, okay? You need to be making money. If you're not making money, it's not going to work. You need to have capital to invest in your growth infrastructure. You need to have a goal to scale past $250,000 to $500K a month. That's the goal we want to kind of have with every partner. And bonus, if you have an audience on YouTube or Twitter, I've launched 4 or 5 different offers like these, build and release offers, that scaled past 6 figures in less than 3 to 4 weeks because of my audience. So if you have an audience and you need kind of someone to come in and build up everything and turn it into a $5 million thing, book a call. I would actually want you for more. If you're watching this and you have some audience, let's get to work, right? So guys, that's it. 94 pages. If you actually didn't get to see everything here, you're just going to need to check it out, everything here, because this was really good. I think it was good. Okay, cool. So we have the next week or so to onboard partners. I'm sure we're going to fill this up pretty fast, but thank you guys for having spent the time with me, and I hope you guys will get to leverage everything that I shared and these 5 models to be able to change your life, and most importantly, give the people you love an amazing life, right? Take care of them, offer them the most beautiful things of this that life has to offer, right? Don't just be average. Don't just be like, oh, I make 10K a month or I make 50K a month. That's not enough money for you to take care of the people that you love for good. Yeah, you can take care of your wife or kids or husband, but don't you want to have a greater impact? And the only way to have a greater impact is to have great profits, great acquisition, great fulfillment, great moat to make the cash flow durable, and have an amazing ascension model where you can sell build and release offers, 10K to 50K upfront, collect data from all the businesses that you're helping, and then build a continuity offer where you sell insights and data. And then from this community you build from the retention offer, you can get into the acquisition game and partnerships, and that's your $1 billion vehicle. Okay? Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's training. I love y'all. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.